special guest, Mr. Malcolm Turner. If you have not checked out the other episode, please go check it out. We talk about commercial lending with the right capital. If you want to go check out that episode, it's a few episodes before this one. Please go check it out. But today is Deal Breakdown. We cover cool, interesting stories. What's interesting about Malcolm is Malcolm actually wrote a book where he has a bunch of these in written form. So we're going to talk a little bit about his book, but he has a couple interesting stories for us today, and he's ready to tell. So what's your cool, interesting story you want to tell us today, Brent? Malcolm?
Well, we have a client who had a deal they lost because they were outbid, and they stayed in contact with the realtor. The day the client was supposed to close with the other buyer, they called the agent and was like, "Hey, did you guys end up closing? I know you were going to do that closing today." And the agent was like, "Oh man, I'm so glad you called me because the guy walked away yesterday." And the guy's like, "What? The day before?" He was like, "Yeah, the day before." He's like, "I'm not doing it." And the clients are ticked off. They're upset, and so, they still want to sell because they were looking to move. They're relocating to Colorado to be with their grandkids, and they're in Michigan. And so he's like, they're ticked. And he said, "Well, my offer is still good. Now I know that was, 20% less than, what they were asking, but we can close in 3 weeks." It's like, "Malcolm, we can close in 3 weeks, right?" "Yeah. Yeah, we can close in 3 weeks." So, if they want to take it, we'll do it. And they did. And they took that offer. And go ahead.
That's as a follow-up.
Yeah. Yeah. But because we were doing a bridge loan, we were able to close that fast.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Right. So we got the deal closed. It was a small deal. It was maybe like, I want to say $500,000. And he got it for $400,000.
Okay.
But $100,000 is $100,000.
Yep.
Right. So, and within 3 months later, we refied out to a long-term, low-rate fixed loan, that had either a 25, 30-year AM on it, so very affordable payments. That deal was cash flowing like crazy. And this was a property that had it was fully occupied. It had no issues. There was no deferred maintenance, on it at all. And for him, it made sense to pay the fees and the expense of doing the bridge loan because he was getting a 20% discount. He made out like a bandit on that deal. But that's where, speed is your friend.
100%.
Right?
100%.
Speed is your friend. And on the flip side of that, time kills deals.
Yep.
But it was a result of us going fast with a bridge loan. And we could have did conventional, but he wouldn't have got the discount.
Yeah.
Number one. And it would have just, he couldn't have offered the discount for time. Like people will, because for some situations, obviously it doesn't apply to most, but in a lot of situations, time is more valuable than money. And, for people who have enough.
This show is sponsored by HiveMind CRM. It is more than just a CRM. It is a real estate and business mastermind that comes with an all-in-one CRM. You can have unlimited websites and users. You can call, text, RVM, and email all in one user interface. And you can set up custom automations for any type and multiple businesses. 65% of companies start using a CRM system within the first 5 years of business. Once implemented, the HiveMind will save you on marketing, give you more time, and make more money. One of our users had his first $100,000 month using our system in June. We want to see you automate and accelerate your business. Text us at 210-972-1842 for future meetings, and of course to get our $1 course on how to make more than 6 figures on one land deal. You can schedule your free demo today at HiveMindCRM.io.
That 100,000 difference ain't going to make a hill of beans to their lifestyle. It's about getting them home to Colorado before Christmas.
That's a good one. So we didn't talk about this in the other podcast, but what is the turnaround for a loan from origination? You said 3 weeks is fast. What's the original to do like 3 months is maybe a bridge loan? What's the traditional time frame for a long-term loan for full AM and underwriting and all that process?
Yeah, I mean, a typical bridge loan is going to be less than 30 days.
Okay.
I mean, it could be as fast as 10, and typically it's not going to take longer than 30. It just depends on how much due diligence you have to do, because some properties, like if you're doing industrial, you have to get environmental and you don't need that if you're doing multifamily. You know what I'm saying? It just, there's some specifics to the deal, but most loans, most bridge loans are going to close in that 2 to 4 week time frame, right?
Nice.
Now, traditional loan is going to take anywhere from 60 to 120 days. It just depends on the lender, and we've all been requested to death of new documents. You turn in this, I need another thing, and 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 you're like, oh my God, I could have gave you this document like 3 weeks ago. Now you're just asking for it now.
Yeah.
And people get short and they get upset. But in my book, Financing the Unbankable Deal, I address the due diligence process, right? Because what a lot of people don't know is when you get deep into due diligence, a new boogeyman shows up called a lawyer.
Oh man.
And when you're doing the initial due diligence, the initial screening, it's a loan officer, it's a processor, it's a paper pusher, right? Then you'll get to where, okay, there's an underwriter who's looking that thing over and, sending it to the loan committee for a final approval, right? At that point, or shortly thereafter, that's when the attorneys get involved, okay? Because when they draft the actual loan documents, the attorneys are doing that, okay? And in commercial, it's all individual. It's not a cookie cutter.
Yeah, every contract's going to be different.
Every contract's a little different. So when the attorneys get involved, now you'll have situations, and unfortunately I've lived through it, where some item is missed, right? I missed it, processor missed it, underwriter missed it, right? It got to loan committee, and the attorney that looked it over right before they put it on the committee table says, oh, wait, this says Daniel Ortega, RELLC, and it's supposed to be Daniel Ortega CRE LLC, or it's Daniel Ortega RE, LLC. This other one doesn't have a comma, and so, oh crap, now everything has to match. Literally every I, every crossing of the T, every comma has to match everywhere. And sometimes an attorney will say, well, this doesn't appear to be right because of da 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 da. And folks will be like, why didn't they bring this guy in if there was a legal? Sometimes there is a legal issue, right? And they'll say, well, this LLC has blah blah blah, and it should be an S chapter, blah blah yada. And well, how come they addressed that before? The lender is not going to pay a $300 an hour attorney to do a $10 an hour processing job.
Yep.
So their eyes don't get to it until you get to
the final stage,
typically the end of the process.
Yep.
Right. And then they can file it up because attorneys always work to protect their client.
Yep.
Not to make stuff easy. And some of them, and I'm not knocking the profession. I'm just, in my mind, my experience.
It's nature of the beast.
Nature of the beast. Some of them are like, I gotta find something. Otherwise, why are you going to pay me $500 an hour? Right? So, I'll look at something. I'll be like, really, dude? You really making a big issue of this? But he's gotta, because he gotta, Now, does he do that on every deal? No, but every so many deals, he's going to justify his fee and say, "Look, client, look how I'm protecting you." And the client being the lender, not the borrower, certainly not the loan officer.
No,
the client is the lender, and it's like, come on, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your participation in this transaction. Here's your check.
Yeah. That's why you never you only bring attorneys in when you are supposed to when you have to.
Yeah.
Right? You don't involve them if they're not required, because they're going to gum up the works just because it's what they do. No, it's what they do.
It's not
You know,
legal.
I hate to be so cynical about it. I mean, they protect their client when they're supposed to,
100%.
right? But too many are like, I got to make a mountain out of a molehill just so I can show my client I'm working for him. You know, because truthfully, it's human nature.
Yeah.
You send a document to your client and it's perfect. And the guy sends it back and says it's perfect with a bill for $1,000. How many times is he going to look at perfect documents before you say, I don't need to send it to him no more? So he's, it's just human. So he's got to find some problems sooner or later. Otherwise, I really don't need my attorney to do these transactions. Yeah, you really don't. Because here's the other side. I've had people where they're like, we literally get down to the end. They look at the loan docs and they're like, okay, I'm going to send this to my attorney for review. I'm like, great, you can do that. And I'm not going to discourage you not to. However, he who has the gold makes the rules. So don't expect that this guy's going to send these documents back with, 5 or 15 markups. And we're just going to change that stuff. Or we're going to throw that out. We don't need that clause. We're going to take that out of there. No. Because the lender's attorney is going to be hell no.
That's either that or you don't get it.
Or you don't get it. Have a nice day, Mr. Client.
Yep.
Because the lender is not going to let that $5 million get wired, to a borrower without proper protections.
Yep. And they've already been through that. They've already been down that road, so they know what protections they need. They have experience, and they're not going to.
I tell people all the time, we all have read stupid, ridiculous, nonsensical disclaimers.
Yep.
Why? Because some nonsensical idiot did something dumb.
Yep.
And then said, well, Daniel, why didn't you tell me not to stick the fork in the toaster? You should have had a warning label on the silverware drawer. I would have known not to reach in and grab a fork and stick it in the live toaster. Therefore, you got to pay me $50,000. So it's like, okay, we're going to put a disclaimer now on the silverware drawer, right? Operate toaster at your own risk. Do not put utensils in the toaster under any circumstances, period. You think, why would they have to say that?
Because it'll be like, if it's plugged in or not. Like, you have to, if it's plugged in or not, please not stick it.
Yeah, because that disclaimer goes, regardless of whether it's plugged in or not, don't do it. Because you're going to say, well, I thought it was plugged in, and you should have told me not. You know what I'm saying, right?
So let's talk a little. How many stories are in your book? Do you know the actual amount they're actually in your book?
Let's see. There are. Well, here's the easier thing. I can tell you. There are probably between those 12 chapters. There's probably about and then here's the book for those who want to see it, Financing the Unbankable Deal. Yep. There's probably 15 case studies. Okay. I'll share a fun one. I had a client who had bought a drive-in or drive-up, I guess you could call it, motel.
Okay.
Right. And you know how, like, whenever, somebody's on the lam, right, they pull them on these little side hotels, the kind the car goes right up to the window. Yep. Lights are flashing. They look out, oh, the cops are coming, go out the back, right? That whole thing. But there's no right back exit because the thing is that big. One of those places.
Yep.
Well, the way those are designed, right? There's the bedroom that you just walk into, yep. Right? And then in the back is where the bathroom is.
Yep.
Right? And maybe a small area to, like, across from the bathroom, you can hang up some clothes or put your suitcases or something like that. Right? Yep. But it's just those two areas. Yep. Right? Well, I had a client, she bought one of those, and what she did was the wall in between, like the across from where the bathroom is,
Mhm.
right? That back part of that wall she knocked out. So she took 2 units and made them one.
Okay.
Okay. And then where the bedroom was, um uh she sealed up that door. She took that door out. So you come in through one side, took the bed out, put a couch, cocktail table, and you can watch TV there,
Yeah.
right? Right. And then she took the bathroom out and put a little kitchenette. When I say kitchenette, I mean like half refrigerator and a microwave.
Yep.
Okay. Then in the other room, she left that alone. So that was where your like bedroom and private bathroom are.
Yeah.
Right. And she sold it, or not sold it, she rented it to seniors.
Okay.
Because for most seniors, having a seating area with a little kitchenette, and then they go, into the next room and there's their bedroom with the bed. That's enough for them.
Yep.
Total, it was like 440 square feet.
Okay.
Not that much space. Well, rather than rent that as just as for a long-term tenant, she decided I'm going to provide them extra services. So she provided maid service that would come in, vacuum, do the laundry, right, and do housekeeping.
Home health care,
right?
essentially. Yeah.
And then she had a guy come in, and he would cook the meals for the whole complex.
Okay.
Okay, so she had like 30 something tenants. Okay, and this guy she had a commercial kitchen on site, kind of like where the big main building is.
Yep.
Right, there was a commercial kitchen in there, and he'd come in and he would cook the 3 squares for the day. And so they got 3 meals a day, housekeeping and laundry for like $2,300 a month.
Wow.
Now, and she threw in cable, because she provided the whole complex with basic cable and internet.
Yep.
And seniors only watch 6 channels anyway, so they don't need like a ton of
Gunsmoke.
stuff. They just don't. So the only bill those seniors had was their cell phone.
Okay.
That was it.
Wow.
Oh my God, was that thing profitable? Because and she included the heat, because it had like baseboard heat in the place, and she had an air conditioner, right? But because the units are 440 square feet,
Yep.
right, it was like that much to provide that. But what they liked was it was one payment.
Yep.
And so she made out, and the meals, the guy charged her less than $5 a meal, So, and it was one housekeeper, and the great thing about it, the housekeeper was like her secret weapon, because the housekeeper's in everyone's unit
Every day.
every
Other week,
well, maybe like 2 days a week, because it was like, right, because some people be Wednesday, Thursday, some folks are rather Tuesday, Thursday, someone's Monday, Wednesday, but they would rotate, right?
Yep.
And if someone was having a bad moment, the housekeeper would let her know first.
Yep.
And then, right. Yeah. All the gossip, housekeeper knows everything about everybody. Right. And she kept the property clean. So it wasn't like you're going to have, the seniors kind of slowing down. They're losing it. And all of a sudden I'm starting to get, like you go to a nursing home where there's certain smells, even a senior housing complex, certain units they're letting it go. None of that. They didn't have to worry about cooking. They didn't have to worry about cleaning. So all her units were in immaculate condition.
So she probably threw her NOI through the roof on that one, depending on what she bought it for.
Oh yeah, absolutely she did. She bought that thing for it was less than $500,000, and she's slowly upgraded the units.
Yep.
Because what her original plan was, she had some long-term tenants, and she had some Airbnb units. Okay, she had like 5 units that were Airbnb, and they were making a ton of money, right? And one of the seniors was like, "Well, man, you're cleaning out the Airbnb unit every time you have to change it over.
Yep.
Can I just pay someone a little extra? They come do mine."
Absolutely.
And it's like, well, okay, and that led to everybody getting cleaning, housekeeping,
And just
everyone
add
getting
to the rent.
And then she's like, man, at $25 a month, I ain't got time for this Airbnb thing, And so the appointments, though, she did, like, she really upgraded the place. So even though it's an old place built in like the 50s or 40s or whatever, she really upgraded the quality of the furnishings and the fixtures and the flooring and all that stuff. She made it nice, and that thing was worth, based on the NOI, I want to say at the time, 1.6,
Wow.
1.7 mil.
Wow.
And she took another building that wasn't being used. I can't remember what was originally used. I think it was like a chapel or something. It was something odd. But she's like, oh no, I'm renovating that, and I'm putting 6 more units in there because I can get 6 more seniors in that space. And so she had a construction guy, and she was showing me how they were, tearing down the walls, and here's where this one's going to be. Here's where we're going to put a door in for this unit, and And you think about that, $2,500 times 6,
Cool. Or 15,000
for just a little bitty space. I mean, oh my God, So yeah. And then she did wrought iron fencing all around the whole property. Did an automated gate to come into the place. She didn't need all that parking, that normally everybody drives up to the thing. She doesn't need all that because most of these seniors aren't driving. They're retired, right? So she took out half of that parking and made it like a park. So folks would just come out their units, sit in their bench chair, and there's like a little fountain, and the grandkids can come over and play, blah blah blah. And all her tenants were either state of Michigan employees that were retirees, or city of Detroit employees that were retirees, and they all had nice pensions. And for them, the most important thing was, I'm on a fixed income, so I need a fixed expense.
Amazing. I think once you find that perfect product for the right people, you're in the money, because there's thousands of city employees, and there's always a recycling of those people. So hey, there's a new unit opening up, boom, it's already filled on the waiting list.
Yes, and she had at that moment like a 9-month waiting list. So she still had, I want to say, 3 or 4 tenants that were the original like long-term renters that were only paying like $900 a month, right? And she's like, listen, I love you, but you got to go, right? Either you step up to $2,500 a month, because I'm not renewing that. I'm not renewing that lease.
Yeah.
So she was like, it's too profitable. I'm going all in. Everyone's on this thing. No Airbnb, no long-term. It's, they're going to be long-term tenants, but they're not just going to be pure renters.
Yep.
They're going to be paying for all of it. So yeah. But it just shows you when people think out of the box, right?
Yep.
What can be done.
100%. Can you plug your book and where people can find you online?
Sure. You can find us online. My book, Financing the Unbankable Deal: How to Buy Commercial Real Estate with the Bridge Loan Investor Success Strategy. You can find it on Amazon. Also, our website, www.financingtheunbankabledeal.com. My firm, Castle Commercial Capital, you can find us online. You can also find us on YouTube.
There you go. Links will be below the video, so please like, share, subscribe. Go check it out. Go check out the book, and check out more interesting stories like those. I think that's pretty interesting, and I think just finding opportunities like that and being laser targeted, you can make some money just listening to a case study.
100%. Yes, because we don't share enough, and the more we can learn from other people's successes, the more it expands our mind as to what's possible.
100%. Thanks, Malcolm, for coming on. I really appreciate your time, and thanks for coming on again. Please go check out the other episode. We'll see you next time. Go like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. We'll see you next time. Have a good day, guys.
Watching this YouTube video, we hope you found value. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Watch more videos just like this one.